59. Well, I will do that.
We'll call the Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 meeting to order. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is rich in indigenous history and home of many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and natural resources contained within. Motion to adopt the agenda.
And I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda
Okay, you don't have to read them out.
to, sorry. Oh, you got it, yeah, nice. It was.
We will require a motion to suspend the rules of procedure to move section 13, closed session immediately after section 9. What is that?
I'll move that.
I'll second it. Everyone's in favor? Thank you.
Motion to adopt.
Okay, now I need a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Dave? Okay, we got that sorted. Does anyone have a disclosure of interest? Noted. We have presentation this time from Victoria Trevorton, Executive Director of the Center Hastings Support Network.
Yep.
Go ahead, Victoria.
Thanks for having me today. Apologize, I'm a little under the weather, but I'll do what I can here. So, Central Hastings Support Network provides transit to 5 municipalities. Sterling is one of them, also Madoff Township, Central Hastings, Tweed, and Murray Lake. And last year, when I stood before you, we were in a difficult position where we were trying to stabilize in terms of the financial burdens that we had, I think, put ourselves under. So today is kind of an update on how we have done to meet the terms of the plan that we set out for you. And I'll get into it. So our 5 municipalities form the partnership that allows us to receive funding through the provincial gas tax rebate. To qualify, each partnering municipality contributes financial support for the service. And the shared commitment ensures that the full population across our service area can be included in the gas tax. So every individual is included in that. And it's administered on our behalf to the municipality of Margaret Lake. So a review of the interim transit plan that was presented to you last year. Essentially, to track the progress that we had hoped to have over the course of the year. I created a performance scorecard. And you can see that in front of you. And many of those terms you can see we kind of implemented. I'm going to kind of go through it quickly, but we reestablished the Rural Transit Partners Committee, where municipal representative council, representatives of the various municipalities sit in on our quarterly meetings. We thank Caroline Smith for joining us every few months. They receive updates, and then we take under advisement anything that that those people bring to us. We increased reliance on, ride sharing. So we prioritize this where possible. Obviously, there are certain circumstances where we would put more than one person in a vehicle. Private medical appointments and whatnot. We focus mainly on getting more people in our transit vans, having advanced payment and pre-booking. We did put a cap on our service numbers, but we've not reached that cap at this point. We actually, the cap is in place because we don't have enough vehicles. We have only 2 transit vans and then a roster of volunteers who use their own vehicles in order to support that. We do have fixed transit schedules, using those vans that go into Belleville daily. Those are for people who go to work, school, or programming. We make 2 stops a day of the Loyalist, bringing people to and from classes. And then, of course, we have a number of people going to programs. Those are adults with disabilities, or sometimes seniors who are going to local programs and participating in community events. The dedicated times for in-town transit, we initially had some setbacks, we continue to have setbacks. The idea was that we would use our transit vans to serve each individual municipality. They would have a dedicated day of the week or more than one day of the week. And we would bring people from out of town or in town and run their errands with them. It would be at a cost of, it was proposed $8. We expect now that it's going to be closer to $5 just based on the numbers that we have. The only thing that's standing in the way of that program is that we have aging vehicles that are in and out of McEwen's quite often. And they're good to us, but not quite, they can't do anything preventative for us in most days. So those midday door-to-door, we want to introduce in December. The announcement was to go out yesterday when I received information that our van one of our vans wasn't, the heater wasn't working. So we're waiting on a part, and then hopefully in the next 2 weeks before Christmas, or 3 weeks before Christmas, what we'll do is make sure that transit is running for people who want to run in town errands. That would mean we have a dedicated vehicle here in Sterling. We would have their own armor, etc. And it would help people do what they need to do. We did have to put a pause on town-to-town transit, which seems sort of antithetical to what we're doing. I imagine that most people look at public transit and they think the more the better, but the fact is that when we're running people from town to town, we're dealing with increased costs with regards to reimbursing our drivers who are reimbursed at a rate of, or at a per kilometer rate. So once we can secure specific funding for that, we'd like to reintroduce it. We have monthly rates for people, we have fare adjustments, advanced scheduling, advanced payment, of course. Those are all things that help us become much more efficient. The last 2 items on there, collaboration with Belleville and Vanpont Transit, that's in progress right now. We have a bus that runs from once a month. We charter a bus through Switzer Carty and Madoc. It goes from Madoc to Bancroft, back through Madoc, and then to Belleville. It's meant to be a pilot project to see what the interest is and what the cost is related to a situation where we would have to charter a vehicle versus whether we use up one of our own vehicles. We'd like to use that data to use it as a model for expanding it out over for other municipalities as well. And then, of course, our online booking software, which we have multiple funding applications out right now, hopefully, so that we can become a little bit more efficient and into the digital age instead of the booking that we're doing right now, which is quite painfully slow. So one of the things that became apparent when we began rolling out the changes with the sheer number of town to town, or sorry, out of out of town clients, so beyond our 5 municipalities. So we've eliminated anybody who does not live outside or does not live within Baydock Farm Street, Eden Sterling. And which means that we've reduced our bi-weekly payments, reimbursement payments to our drivers from about $30,000 for 2 weeks to around 15,000. Which is a significant reduction. Of course, it does affect our revenue, but it's much more manageable amount for a small nonprofit to have to carry that kind of money in and out. And it does allow us to provide significant focus, more directed focus for the folks who live in our municipalities. So since the last time I was here, CHSN has provided a total of 15,195 rides. An additional 4,229 were booked but canceled for some reason, which adds up to over 20,000 rides booked last year. It's from November to November. Of total rides booked, 5,352 were specialized transit services, which means that people are accessing medical appointments, developmental day programs, and essential services for seniors. Those remaining 15,000 rides are for work, school, and essential services for general public. So the year-by-year ridership, you'll see over the next couple of pages, it's from 2012 to 2025. You can see those are medical or fully accessible transit. We call that specialized. That's generally carried out on an on-request basis. And our numbers generally stay the same. We've gone down a little bit because we've eliminated any ridership outside of our 5 municipalities. And then our more conventional transit, which is people getting to school and work and whatnot, is on the next page. And you can see a significant decline in that as well, which I know that people are saying that might seem not great, but it's actually what we're aiming for, because we want very specific services for people who live in these areas. So ridership by municipality, you can see all sort of an overview of what we provide. Sterling County is about 12.9% of our ridership right now, which is comparative to last year. It's a small increase. We provide regular rides for 30 riders this year, which means these are repeat users. These are people who are going to work multiple times a day or going to school. We have an additional 11 riders on that roster who were provided service sort of on a one-time basis because they had to do a medical appointment or didn't have a vehicle for some reason. The majority of the trips that took place, which was about 70%, are dedicated to people who require specialized services. Seniors who require support for door-to-door, people with developmental disabilities, medical appointments across the board, whether or not they're on a reimbursed a benefit program. Excuse me. Remaining 30% are people who are going to work in school. So in terms of accessibility, we know that most of the riders here are vulnerable or mobility challenged, that the specialized services are a critical component to community mobility and inclusion. We know that these rides, there is a significant demand on resources. Specialized rides require more resources per trip because we need the dedicated vehicles to do it. We need special support accommodations, door to door. Sometimes drivers, we know our agency drivers have specialized training. They represent 70% of the rides and consume a higher share of the operating budget as well. About a quarter of all the trips are conventional, indicating that the core system remains moderately used for work, school, and essential travel, and supporting general community mobility. We're running at a 20% cancellation rate, which is still quite high as far as I'm concerned. We were 30% last year. I'd like to see this down 10% more, and we're working towards that. The pre-book prepay option is certainly helping in that regard. But when you're dealing with rural transit, roads are always a concern. And also when you're dealing largely with vulnerable people, it means that they're at higher risk of illness and such. So we did get a number of cancellations in that regard. So our funding works as follows. As I mentioned earlier, the 5 municipalities come together to contribute jointly to the application for our provincial gas tax. For the last several years, we've received right in the neighborhood of $200,000 per year. As far as I know, there is a cap on that, generally speaking, for all the municipalities that are receiving that. All of my inquiries did not receive any answer as to why. We are continually reassured that it is stable and long-term funding. So it's not going to change or be taken away because of, hopefully, because of government changes. The United Way last year provided us with $25,000 to support specifically riders getting where they need to go. Our 5 partner municipalities contributed, that should say 11,500. And Hastings County Homelessness Prevention Funding provided transit with $7,500. So note on funding, I did mention the gas tax cap. Our homelessness prevention funding, because of changing priorities of the government, we will not be seeing funding in that regard. Going forward, that program is no longer operational after 2026, I believe. So the reduction is significant for our organization and the clients we serve. Affordable, reliable transportation is a key factor in maintaining housing stability, and we know that quite critically now, a number of people are struggling with housing issues, not just because of the cost of them, but because of the cost of everything else with it. So we have a number of grant applications right now, the Rural Transit Solutions Grant, because we need new vans over the next several years to replace the vans that we do have and to add some capacity to our organization. The Trillium Foundation grant for our digital booking program. Excuse me. So we've reached the point where we have to purchase a van, or else we're kind of stuck in the water. We can't move forward with the amount of people that we can move forward, but we'd be able to do it a little much more efficiently if we could lengthen the life of the vans that we have right now. So we run fundraising and donation campaigns throughout the year as well, specifically to raise money for transit. And I did, of course, go through the pilot project for our Bancroft Bell bus. So I just want to thank you for having me sit in today for our the support that you provided last year at $1,500. We maintain and expand reliable, affordable service. And we request your continued financial support for the coming year, and if possible, an increase of up to $5,000. This additional funding would help us bridge the gap between our current spending and operational needs, allowing us to continue subsidizing costs so they don't fall on residents. I have copies of our audited financial statements and our annual report if you're interested, and I can take questions.
Any questions, members of council?
That funding cut from the county.
Yeah.
This, from my understanding, that was a separate program. That was,
Why did they cut that?
Well, the province has changed the parameters for that funding. It was, it's become very targeted. Yeah. See, Senator Hastings Transit, their services did not fall within that guideline.
it's a big hit.
Mhm. Yeah, the first year I was with the organization, we received 51,000. Last year it was 7,500, and like I said, and I don't, as far as I know, after 2026, HPD is gone. Totally.
There's been quite a change in that program. We had to turn down multiple applications.
It's much more, I won't go on, I won't publish it.
Victoria, can you just sort of encapsulate, in the last year, you were saying there was about 22,000 overall rides, and Sterling is 12% of that?
Yeah.
So help me with my math, that represents how many individuals?
It was 20,000 and then 20, for the gas also just about 15,000 total rides.
1,892.
1,892 Sterling residents, so with that $1,500
Those are not residents, rides.
rides.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. And are most of these, can you track what those individuals are actually doing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we, it's specific to, it's,
I'm not sure if Sterling is different than made up number three or. It's the same.
yeah, we did an overview of that. So, for example, Tweed, most of the residents who are riding in Tweed are going for work. That's the majority of their ridership. That's what it looks like here. 70% of the ridership is specialized. We know individually if those people are going for specific medical appointments, or if they're adults with disabilities who are going to day programming at Pathways or something. Sorry. So yeah, 70% are going for those specialized services.
From Sterling, and that's generally going to Belleville.
Not necessarily, no, sometimes it's in town here. Sometimes it's needed to cope in Madoff, so community living programs. Might be a doctor's appointment in Belleville, might be a doctor's appointment here, it might be a doctor's appointment in Kingston. So it's quite varied, yeah, I wouldn't be able to say specifically a destination, but
Further questions? All right, so a motion to receive the presentation.
I'll move.
A second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you.
sorry, I was that's there.
Hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah, you might wanna. Thanks.
Thanks.
The decision on this until budget. Okay, at this time, we have public input. I don't see the public. Moving along. Announcements, parade this weekend. Raids this weekend. So, but 6:30 Saturday night,
Right.
Friday night. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock that day.
Thank
Yes.
you. Any other announcements? You know, council.
Is the new route for the parade, is it posted on the website?
Yeah.
Website?
So are we actually going through the parking lot?
It's on the angle.
On the air?
I think they're gonna get the pylons up for the afternoon. Stay tuned. There's a number of corners in Sterling that are challenging no matter what the route is. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to receive the minutes of the regular council meeting held on November 18th.
I'll move.
A second.
Questions? All in favor? Carried. Number 2. Need a motion of the minutes of Sterling Cloud Public Library Board meeting held May 21st and September 17th and October 15th. Proceed. That please.
I'll move. All second.
Everybody know down, maybe you don't say both of those minutes.
Well, pretty straightforward, anything. Already talked about was Matt and George in regards to the plumbing issue was I think it's being addressed. Unfortunately, it was part of the sprinkler system inspection. But seemed a lot more serious than it actually was.
Nice one, to turn on the heat in the boardroom, you have to turn it on in the lobby.
Oh. Too late.
It's a glitch.
All in favor? Very good. I need a motion to receive the minutes of the Sterling Rodden BIA board meeting held on October 23rd.
I'll move.
I'll say.
Do you want to say about those minutes? Kevin?
Yeah, we may be a bit premature in having these on the agenda since the October BIA meetings, BIA minutes have not been approved by the BIA yet. We did not have a meeting last week, so there are several errors in this that are gonna have to be amended, so you're probably gonna be seeing these minutes again come up in the new year, because the next BIA meeting isn't until January 22nd.
So should we receive them then or just?
And just receive them,
As presented?
okay, and then we can bring them back. And we'll note then that they were brought before, the amended version.
Yeah, I'm still unclear why, at the October meeting, Shelley and Michelle were both there, and it was discussed that there would be a 45-minute meeting in advance of the mixer that happened. What was it, November 27th? Something, and we're not clear how that didn't happen, so. We just know that it didn't happen, so, January 22nd is the next meeting. Sorry,
Official.
Yeah.
I think.
I will note that council is just receiving the minutes anyway, they're not.
Approved. All in favor? Very good. Last time, asked Dean to deal with the matter.
Bringing a motion on the floor to talk environmental.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Morning, councilors. So just a brief overview of November. Sanitary main flushing, we had a company by the name of NPL in to do about half of our wastewater collection system flushing. So they accomplished 7,657 meters in 9 days. Well, number 5, as you might remember, we had some issues with well 5 as it was allowing gravel and sand to come through the screen and ultimately into the plant. That was budgeted for 2025. And that well was decommissioned by a licensed well contractor on November 25th. And construction of well number 7 is now complete. The next step is the 24-hour pump test, which will be used to determine the pumping rate once this well gets put online. Information's been provided to Watson Associates for the water and wastewater rate study and the financial plan update. DWQMS internal audit, so it's that time of year where staff's working on internal audits, followed by management review, and then we'll have our external audit in January. Wastewater training staff have been working on their mandatory 40 hours. So in between day-to-day job duties and snow plowing and everything else, so have to get that finished up before end of December. Questions?
Anyone have any questions? What was the final cost on the decommissioning of that well? Was it
I believe it was 6,500 for the licensed well contractor, and then we had a few hours with the gentleman from Arc Industries or Arc Integration that does the SCADA work, so he had to remove that well 5 from the SCADA station. And then we had an hour or so with a licensed electrician to make sure it was disconnected electrically.
Any other questions?
Just, I know I was talking to Matt the other day about the, well, number 7, if you want to give us a quick timeline.
Yeah, so timeline, as you might remember with well 6, it took quite a bit of time to bring it online. So drilling the well is the easy part. We're gonna be doing the pump testing, like I mentioned. That will determine the flow rate, what we should be putting in for a pump. And then the next step that I budgeted for next year is it's about $20,000. It's for the wellhead vulnerability analysis, so we have to make sure that there's no concerns with the source water perspective. So it is mandatory that we have to do it. That will be the next phase, and following that and approval from Conservation Authority, then we can advance with actually bring that well into the plant, piping it in. We might not even see that next year, just the timelines, it's NECP approval and, you know, it goes and sits on a desk somewhere for half a year. But hopefully we can see something in construction in 27. Bring it into the plant, but we have to get all of our approvals and study work done first.
All in favor? Thank you. I have a motion to number 8.2, the landfill monitoring reports and annual reports. Can I have a motion to move that on the floor?
I moved.
Second,
I'll second.
Caroline, you want to talk about any of the highlights on that?
Yep, so had some assistance with creating a summary on that. So the first part of that report gives a brief overview of all of the Rawdon and landfill, or Rawdon and Sterling landfill reports. So there's 3 reports. The Rawdon landfill monitoring report for 2024.
How are you?
Just some brief overviews there. Things seem to be contained within that site. Just a key point there, estimated remaining life is 25 years for the Rawdon site. Then we have the Sterling landfill site. So there is some small concerns with leachate there, but it is only seems to be migrating into the buffer area during spring. But the steps that the consultant has recommended is just to continue monitoring. So no course of action for either site. And then the third report is the 2024 operations report for the Rawdon landfill sites. It is it's a technical report for the sampling and monitoring. So Rawdon has reporting requirements annually, and Sterling has biannual reporting requirements. So that's why you see it. Difference in the 2 report or the 3 reports. So all in all, things are fine, and you know, just the same annual monitoring or reporting is what's required.
Any questions?
No, just a comment. We've seen a great deal of improvement in the operation of the landfills in the last few years. I know prior to that, we had annually we had some issues. You know, just congratulations to the staff, getting them in line and keeping.
All in favor? Steve. Eight, three.
Yes, I made a motion to public works manager report on the table.
I moved.
Move it on,
I'll second.
second, All yours, Joe.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Running is the report for this month. We had a few maintenance activities there, as you can see. Starting the plowing year, usually finding some of the weakest links and hydraulic hoses and things like that. Maybe this we didn't make it too bad. Anything there, do you have any questions on or?
Anybody have any specific? Not anything else you want to know, George, or?
No, I think, we just see what we're carrying on with what, our road maintenance, category here. Of course, we installed the new bridge. Anybody that's been out there lately, we did, pave the approaches to the bridge just to be a little safer. It seems to be working pretty good, pretty smooth. I don't think, Jeremy, no, none of buses going that way, have had any issues. And we've been continuing, getting down some of these dead trees. We have a couple in town that are on our radar here yet to get on West Front, big short, so.
Through the chair, the ball diamonds that still happening this fall.
I have put an email out to our contractor. There was hope that he was gonna get it done this fall, asking if he's gonna maintain his price for next spring. Wait for an email back. But our plans are to still carry on with it, just didn't involve this fall, so.
The frost won't hold enough to be.
In
The frost won't be a problem.
in the spring,
Well, even now.
well, I think we're gonna be trouble now. We were hoping for a week of good weather. We did say we did get a week of Indian summer, we'll call it, that we might be able to get in there, so.
All in favor? It's carried. Need a motion to get the rural road trees at home part sponsor bid.
I'll move.
A second,
Second, Caroline. So there's a report there from the public managers. Entitled removal of willow trees at Bowman Park and storm sewer clearing to be received and further. With this approval, the council approves the removal of willow trees at Lane Crescent at the amount of $3,800 plus HST. To be funded from the 2025 parks budget. Contracted services, and further the council approves. The root cutting at the storm sewer of Lane Crescent in the amount of $1,679 plus HST from the 2025 stormwater budget. Contracted services. So you're fine with that under your motion? Whoever make the options. Dean, are you okay with that?
Yeah, was that 3,800 was in the parks budget? To do that, I'm fine with that.
Seconder was okay? Any questions?
just one comment. I think this is gonna be such a high visibility event. It will be good to kind of send out some information to the public. On the website, et cetera, just alerting everybody, this is why we need to do this. We're just not halfway cutting down some big visible trees.
All in favor? It's carried.
Carolyn,
Oh, I have a move to the fire chief's report for November 2025 you received. Don,
A second.
Dean? Yeah.
Morning, Mayor and Council, through the chair, just a few little updates. We have lifted our burn ban, that is due to the precipitation levels and a bit of that white stuff we got out there, and we'll take a little bit more of that here and a lot more precipitation. I know some people want for flooding, but where our water sources should definitely use it, and probably a lot of people as well as yet, so. We keep monitoring that, it has happened before in the winter time that we've had to put bans on, but we'll monitor it and keeping track of that. Hopefully, we get some more precipitation this winter. So, just a quick update. We've also did our fire inspections all done for vulnerable occupancies and stuff, and that'll be going into to the
fire marshal's office, so that's all in place. We'll also, we'll be doing a number for emergency management, we're doing our tabletop exercise this week. We're doing some water issue, and that's hopefully get that that'll go, that's always a good exercise for our team. And also the just the department, our training is going well. We've got a bunch of learning contracts approved for the 1st of January. Starting January through, we'll be doing, I think we have a Fire 1, Fire 2 officer course, and there'll also be another hazmat course, plus we'll be working at pump house too, which is another new thing. Also we attended the fire chiefs conference in there a couple weeks ago there, and a lot of stuff coming with that with the training and certification. Nothing is changing there. Also with the 1006, which we don't do a lot of 1006 here, we do have extrication in that, which would affect us. We do have some water rescue type stuff, whatever, but that'll be that's going through, and they've made the nice announcement that they will be going on in 2028. That's going to be placed too. So anyways, some more good news for the fire world. But anyways, we keep plugging away with it. We're doing well with the training our group, and we hopefully make it successfully by the end of July, and we have already certified there, and that's went very well. We said we have Christmas season coming up, the parades and all that stuff, and we'll be able to assist with the parade, and always look forward to that, the group, and we will be, hopefully Santa Claus, I think, is going to the library this year. So yeah, we always look forward to that, and go from here. But any other questions?
Any other questions for you?
Yeah, through the chair, will it be difficult to get the department certified by that deadline?
Like I said, we're working with it. We've got a really good start on it. We're heading pretty well. We will have a few stragglers and stuff. We will have to make some amendments probably for some of the firefighters until we do get them certified to do different jobs and positions. But we're looking pretty good with, we get this training done from January till then. Gonna work. Rick Rich has been working really hard on getting that role ready to go, and we're gonna be involving some of the other local fire departments around us as well to help in that, so we can get our numbers, and hopefully we're gonna be close, but it's we're going until the deadline comes. But we are working hard, and just very hard for the guys. They put a lot of time and effort into this, and the certifications put a lot of it's in add a lot of added expense to the department as well, and the municipality, but we're doing fairly well with it right now.
So I thought I'd heard that a lot of departments are trying to get that deadline.
Trying to get the deadline extended. We've got told last it's gonna be from as of our fire chief conference. That was from the fire marshal's office, right from the deputy fire marshal training, and that, and they said it will be 2028 for the 1006 and 2026 for the thing as of right now. So that's, unless that changes between then, we're pushing away. And like I said, we may have to make a few changes in our operating procedures and stuff with the department, and some people won't be, but if they're not certified, then unfortunately, because we've got some really good firefighters and stuff that do that there, but we're gonna keep pushing forward and doing our best to get them all trained, and hopefully it all works out for us.
You want to speak to Thursday?
Yeah, so on Thursday, we do our tabletop exercise, which is required by the William, which is Ontario Emergency Management. We'll be meeting with both, we're having a joint exercise that we did for the last few years with the municipality Tweed. We're working on a water exercise, basically one that we kind of went through before. Had some, we've just fine-lining there with Tweed too as well, with water shortages and stuff like that. If we had a tower go down or something, because we do the maintenance and stuff like that, and we did very well with that last time. But just to try to go through to make sure we are prepared for emergency preparedness for in case of that water loss or whatever like that. And we're working a lot with our water department, which is they did a great job with getting stuff organized. We do have issues with that, but we just want to make sure our whole team is on board with the training and stuff. And like I said, we do work with municipality Tweed and our partners, and have the same basically system as what we do, kind of thing. And It puts our whole team together and acts basically a tabletop exercise if there was an emergency, how to basically handle it.
So deputy chair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and myself will be attending that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. For that stuff. But
Great, anything else? All in favor? And 8.6, kind of move it that the bylaw enforcement services board report for November 2025 be received.
I move.
Don,
I'll second.
Jeremy? Any statements, all in favor? And 8.7, move it that the building inspection services board report for November 2025 be received.
I'll move.
Don, again,
I'll second.
Dean? And all in favor? Great. And I didn't get that.
sure.
Sure. I have a mover that the Economic Development Officer's report for November 2025 be received and that a donation of $350 be approved for the participation of the Trent Valley Shrine Club in the Sterling Santa Claus Parade. Mover for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Don and Jeremy. Michelle, anything you want to point out or?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Just their monthly activities, the BIA held like the night on November 14th, approximately 1,000 visitors. It was well received. Holiday market in the village was November 7th, and they had approximately 30 vendors with 1,500 visitors. It was quite busy as well. There were Remembrance Day services in both Springbrook and Sterling. It brought many in to pay respects for those who passed in World War I and II. And Farmtown Park had their Festival of Trees. It was well attended and it was held on November 13th to the 16th. The BIA meeting was on October the 23rd. We collaborated with business owners on activities planned for the next 2 months. Caroline, Shelley, and myself all attended. The BIA finances, including cash flow and reporting with the township, was highlighted for improvement going forward. BIA appointments and dates for approval of the budget to be reviewed in 2026 and bylaw to be approved by council. I also attended the Fresh and Hot Pizza Grand Opening on Wednesday, November the 19th, and from 11 to 1, they had free pizza slices and pop. Representatives from MP Shelby Cramp Newman's office, MPP Rick Bracey's office were in attendance, as well as the mayor, Councillor Smith, Councillor Stewart, CAO Shelley Steddle, and Andrew Redden from the Economic and Tourism Development of Hastings County was there. We had a new business that opened. It's Spa of Feathers and Fur. Sometime in October, they provide animal grooming services, and we're working on having a grand opening for them in the upcoming weeks. Upcoming events, BIA Mingle, which was last Thursday, November the 27th at 6 o'clock. This coming weekend, we have the Sterling Santa Claus Parade on Friday at 6:30. And Springbrook Santa Claus Parade is on Sunday at 3. And we have Santa at the library on December 13th from 10 till 1. Just reminders that this Friday, if everyone could meet around 6:15 for the parade, for the float, and on Sunday around 2:45 for the Springbrook Parade. And on December 13th, sometime between 9:30 and 9:45 for Santa at the library.
Good. Any questions from Michelle, comments?
Just a reminder on the float, it's a different one than previous years. If you've had a chance to look at it. They've done a great job. Thank you for the Horticultural Society.
Yes, thank you. They were just like little worker bees. I just stood back and watched.
Oh,
They do that.
There's still a float to go.
There is, yes.
Are the volunteers coming back to do the second float? No, that's just.
No, that's, George and I are gonna. Work on that one. It requires power tools.
And Michelle, I'll talk to you after the meeting about the light walkers and when they're gonna get it changed and all that stuff.
Is there anything, for the stand at the library that we need to know as members of council?
There's no hot dogs or hot chocolate or.
There's hot chocolate, there's no hot dogs.
We're moving to the library instead of Covered Bridge.
To you, Mr. Chair, that was due to weather conditions, it was all a bit warmer, to keep the festivities inside. The library is actually quite excited about having Castle and Santa come and the kids, so that the children's librarian has done quite a bit of making sure everything's ready and advertising it out for as well, so hopefully we get lots of people coming.
Anything else from Michelle?
But that's not for a focal point of the town, but the Covered Bridge, that's why I asked.
By the lights.
So, yeah.
Will the Grinch be allowed in the library? Well,
The answer shows up.
I have one more question through the chair from Sam. How is the pizza?
It was good,
Good.
yeah.
All in favor?
Okay, 9.1, that the minutes, the Lower Trent Conservation Authority Source Protection Authority meeting held on October 9th and July 10th, 2025, be received.
I'll move.
A second.
Questions on that? All in favor? That the correspondence from the Crow Valley Conservation Authority regarding the 2026 draft budget be received. Move for that, please.
I'll move. I'll second.
Anything you want to say for them, but
Thought they did a good job with it, so. Don't have too much to do other than the regular stuff this year, so.
all in favor? The next one is for information that the correspondence from the MNR seeking feedback on the proposed policy and regulatory changes to black bear management in Ontario be received. Mover for that.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Questions on that? Nobody be coming from. The numbers are increasing. All in favor? Okay, the next two are similar. That the correspondence from the town of Kingsville in opposition to the proposed consolidation of the conservation authorities be received. And further, that council supports the resolution and opposes the consolidation of the Ontario Conservation Authorities without knowing the full financial and operational impact to the municipalities, conservation authorities, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to all relevant stakeholders. And move for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
I think, we're all aware of the support. That is support for sure. All in favor? Next one is similar. With the correspondence from the town of Goderich regarding the proposed amendments with the Conservation Authorities Act be received, and further, the council supports the resolution of the requests, which requests the province place an emphasis on developing and protecting the health of watersheds, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to all relevant stakeholders. Move for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor of that? It's just further information. The conservation authorities had a meeting yesterday at their head office with stakeholders from across the province, and they will also be releasing a statement. It's not at this point prepared. At this point, I need a motion to move into close.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay,